Hello, welcome to the volunteer orientation video for the Tarpon Springs Aquarium. So my name's Grant. That is me in the middle of this photo here. And who is in charge of the aquarium? Well, it's run by myself and my family. Primarily the three of us in the middle here. So myself and my older sister Paige and our dad. His name is Scott. And me and Paige primarily run the operations right now. My dad has had some issues with health recently, but you will see all three of us around quite a bit. Other family members that are also involved in the aquarium that you should be aware of is my uncle. His name is Jeffrey, or just goes by Jeff. And he isn't a manager, but he does come and help out quite a lot. So he will be there. And then there's also my younger brother. His name is James, and James likes to come to the aquarium a lot, but he has mild autism. So uh, he sometimes acts a little bit strange, but very friendly. So if you have any issues with him, of course, let us know. But generally, he's never had any problems. Okay, and then on the website where you probably found the link to this video, there was another button that said volunteer policies. You are required to read all of these and make sure you understand them. Um, Alternatively, you can pause this video and read them now. They're all on the screen. But in summary, what you will want to be worried about is a couple of main things, because there's a lot to go over there. Make sure you come on time. That's very important. And on the days that you're scheduled, so I'll schedule you at a certain time each week usually, or maybe a couple days or so. And you want to make sure you do actually come, because a lot of people want these volunteer positions, and frankly, if you're not there and you're not communicating with me about that, then I'll just open up that spot for someone else. So if you are going to be missing a day, which is fine, it happens. Just let me know as soon in advance as you can. That's my number, 727-688-3901. You'll want to save that in your phone, and always let me know when you'll be late or missing. And then the other big part of the policies that you'll want to remember is that you're responsible for protecting the animals at the aquarium. So there's a lot of touch tanks and opportunities for guests to interact and touch the animals, and you'll want to make sure that if your responsibility at that time is to oversee a tank or look out for an animal, that that animal is safe, not being hurt by anyone. And you don't want to be hurting them yourselves either. So you don't want to be rough with the animals, and you really don't want to be interacting with them unless you're helping a customer. If you're just doing it on your own time, you're unnecessarily stressing that animal out. And certain animals, like cats and dogs, you can pet them and they like it, but most of the animals that we have, save for a couple, don't really like to be pet. So um, unless you're helping a customer, you just want to watch them. You're not interacting with them unless you get our permission, Paige or I or my dad. And finally, phone. So one of the things that's the many of the volunteers struggle with is having their phones out. And I'm pretty young myself, so of course I like my phone too. But you want to keep your phone away while you're at the aquarium volunteering, especially in front of customers, because it looks very unprofessional when you're supposed to be there helping our customers, and instead you're on your phone, distracted, and really not a good look for yourself or for the aquarium. So if I or my sister or any of the employees see you with your phone out, and especially in front of customers, then we may give you a warning the first time, but that's something that we will be taking seriously. Okay. Now, in terms of what you're actually going to be doing at the aquarium, and I'm going to go over briefly uh, some of the basic understanding of what you'll want to know. And this is for like your first you'll get into the swing of things, but for your first couple of days, I'm going to give you a general overview so you understand what's going on. Generally, when you come, some of you will be coming in the morning, and some of you will be coming later in the day. So for those who are coming in the morning, usually about 9:30, you'll be coming in and helping us open stuff up, get things ready. We call it getting the stations ready, sweeping, stuff like that. We'll go over that with you in your first couple of days, what you'll want to do then. And then that doesn't apply for those coming in later in the day. But for both groups of people, once we open, which is at 10 o'clock, then we will assign you stations. And your station will usually be assigned for an hour at a time. And especially on weekends when we have a lot of people, we'll do a lot of rotation. So usually at the top of each hour, we rotate the station. So we also do shows at the top of each hour. So generally how we do it is when the show is announced, or sometimes an employee will tell you to go ahead and switch your station. That's when you switch your station at the top of each hour. And so here are the main stations. There's this is the main station right here. So this is the main entrance building. You come in through, customers will come in through here and then go out through either one of these doors to these touch tanks. But this station behind the building is where we give out food. So for those who haven't visited, as a customer, we give out food to people to feed the animals. And at this station here, you're responsible for answering questions and giving out food and showing people how to feed them. There's also the touch tanks here and here, stingray tank, and this has a variety of animals in here. There's also a tortoise area where usually we'll have a tortoise out, so that's important that we watch that station so people can pet the tortoise. There's an upstairs area, also an area where we give out food, but for throwing into these tanks. And then a baby shark station, which isn't always stationed. We don't always have someone stationed there because sometimes we have the baby shark food be given out at the umbrella area. But I'll still go over that, just especially for weekends and busier days, we'll always have someone down there. So first thing, we have the umbrella station, which remember is right behind the building here under this little umbrella. And especially on slow days, there may not be somebody watching these two touch tanks. So sometimes you'll be responsible for watching this station. All right, sorry about that. My microphone ran out of battery, but as I was saying, the umbrella station here will sometimes be responsible for watching both these touch tanks as well. So in that case, especially, what you'll want to be doing is greeting customers. So when people first come in or they're coming over, or sometimes even if they've been there for a while and they're just coming by, you always want to be friendly. So you want to say, hello, welcome, this is the touch tank, or this is the stingray tank, or welcome to the aquarium, something along those lines. And I'm going to go over go over this station first. And that is basically, especially if someone is already watching these two stations, your job is to wait for people to bring tickets. And the tickets are bought when they come in. So if people want more tickets, you can tell them they can purchase them inside here. They bring their tickets and then they trade the tickets in for cups of food. And there's a variety of different animals they can feed. There's turtles, alligators, stingrays, which is the food you'll be giving out. There's also baby sharks, which sometimes you'll be giving out that food here, but usually down here. And then there's also the upstairs tarpon food, which is always given out upstairs. But people will come with their tickets. Sometimes they are confused about how to use their tickets. So you can explain to them how it works. So we sell tickets individually, but usually people will get a 20 pack of tickets when they come in, or sometimes more. And with a 20 pack of tickets, and you can tell customers this. So usually, here's how the interaction will go. They'll come up and they'll say, hi, I have these tickets. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with them. You say, well, you have these tickets and you can trade them in for cups of food. If you got a 20 pack of tickets, that's enough tickets to buy 1 cup for each type of animal, and you'll have some extras as well, extra tickets. And you can choose which animal you want to feed. From that point, then the customer will pick an animal. One important note here is that we only allow them to feed 1 type of animal at a time. So they can't say, well, give me 1 of each. You say, well, we have you guys feed one animal at a time. That way the food doesn't get mixed up. And also you don't have to carry around the sticks to feed the animals. Usually they're fine with that. If you ever have a customer that has any issues or anything, you can get an employee or one of the managers like myself to help you out. But generally, then they will pick their animal, you give them the food, and then here's the other very important thing, is your job for every single time that someone gets animal food is to show them how to feed them and where to feed them, unless you're 100% certain that they've already fed that animal that day before. Even if they say they know how to feed them, sometimes they don't, which is annoying, a little confusing, but that's why you have to always tell them. So what you'll want to do, so let's say for example the stingrays, that costs 3 tickets. So they give you 3 tickets, you give them a cup of stingray food, and then you tell them the stingrays are right over there that you want to feed, and let me tell you how to feed them. I don't ask them, do you know how to feed them? I tell them, let me tell you how to feed them, and then just briefly tell them how to do it. For the stingrays, they stick the food between their fingers, keep their hand flat, put it against the glass, and the stingrays will come up and eat it right off of their hands. And you'll use hand gestures as well while you're doing that. You'll also do the same thing for the turtles. The turtles are especially important to tell people where to feed them because there's lots of turtle enclosures, so they'll get confused unless you tell them to feed them right there at the number 11 area. It's not labeled, so you just point right over here. And then for alligators down here. So for the turtles and the alligators, they use sticks, and you show them how to put the food on the stick, and then you tell them where to come over and feed them. Same thing for baby shark. You also use sticks. If they want a type of food that you don't give at this station, like if someone's at Baby Shark down here or upstairs, you just tell them where to get that food. So you tell them if they want the tarpon food, which is what they sell up here, tell them to go right around the big tank, up the stairs, and that's where they get the food. Or they can go down this hallway all the way to the end where the baby sharks are to get that food. Just make sure somebody is at that station before you send them down there. Just a note, the stingray food and the baby shark food are actually the same food. Okay, and then let's go over the touch tank and the stingray tanks briefly here. So let's see what I have written down. So for both of these tanks, generally what you want to do is just be watching the animals. And then when people come in, either through the entrance or from anywhere, you want to tell them, hello, this is the stingray tank, or this is the touch tank. And then each tank actually has different rules. Let's do touch tank first. So touch tank, the rules are 2-finger touch, and this is what you'll tell the customers. And you want to be loud about this. Don't be shy. Tell them it's 2-finger touch. You can touch any animal in the tank as long as you're gentle. And the only animal that has a special rule is the sharks. So the sharks there's a couple little cat sharks in here. They're really called bamboo sharks is the more proper name for them. And so say for these bamboo sharks, you can pet them only behind where their fins are on their backs or tail, so not near their head. And there are signs that say this, but people don't read signs very often. So you want to be telling them yourself. The stingray tank, a little bit more complicated because you're not supposed to just reach out and poke at them. And the reason we do that is because the stingrays can get hurt pretty easily if a kid, punches at them or pokes them. It can hurt their backs. So instead, what we encourage people to do, and you want to tell every single customer this, which can be repetitive, but just for that hour, you got to do it. And that is, you tell them they want to stick their hand flat against the glass and let the stingrays come to them. And usually it won't take long, especially in certain areas. The stingrays will come up, and we call it stingray kisses on their hands. So you can tell people to come up and give you little stingray kisses. Usually people are fine with that. And also at this station, you want to help people feed them if they seem like they don't know what they're doing. You can show them how to feed them with the between the fingers hand flat thing. Okay. For both of these tanks, if people are rough with the animals in any way, it's your job to be attentive to the rules. So you want to tell them, so here's how I usually do it. Someone's being rough, remind them the rules first thing. Say, hey, you're being a little rough, make sure you follow the rules. Remember, 2 fingers are with the stingray, hand against the glass. If they won't listen to you and they keep doing it, don't try to argue with them. At that point, you'll want to come get an employee or a manager, and we will help you out from there. Okay, so there's also a tortoise station. So let me go back to show you where that is. That's all the way at the end down here. This is probably one of the more isolated areas, so it's important you know what you're doing down here. Excuse me, because you won't be able to call for help very easily as you would here, where you can just come in the building and get an employee who's at the front. For the tortoises, your job is to watch over, make sure people aren't trying to touch the animals that are in the enclosures. We will usually have 1 tortoise or maybe 2 that are out walking around in here, and you can and your job is to let every single customer that comes out here know. Say hello, welcome, and you can pet the tortoise here, but not on its face. That's the only rule. So you can pet it anywhere, but on its face. And as long as they're gentle, of course, you can add that too. So no petting on the face, be gentle. And then we'll go over the information about the tortoises that you can tell people out here, because they'll have a lot of questions usually. One key thing about the tortoise station is that for this station, this is the only station this applies to. When we do the switching at the hour, you actually stay at this station until somebody comes to you. So you don't just leave, because we don't want the tortoise to end up being abandoned that's out here, which is why. And they could get lost or slide under the fence or something. So make sure that you stay with the tortoise that's out there until somebody comes and relieves you, and then you go to your next station. Okay, and then there's also the baby shark area that's down here. Very similar to the umbrella, but generally what you do is you tell people how to feed them, and it's just the baby sharks. So you just tell them to poke it on their little stick it through the fence of the water. Easy peasy. Return their sticks when they're done. If they drop the sticks in any of the tanks, you can tell them that's fine, and then just let one of the employees know, and we'll get it out at the end of the day. Not a big deal. Also at the baby shark station, we often prepare food for the animals, especially the shrimp cutting. We'll go over that with you, but that's an important part of that station. I didn't mention this, but a couple things. One is that make sure that you, at any station, are talking to customers. This is very important. I'll mention this multiple times. And that is that you don't want to just be sitting there, I don't know, staring at the wall. You want to be walking around, and if you can, I encourage you to ask people, say, do you have any questions, and then encourage a conversation. Sometimes people don't want to have a conversation, that's fine, but you want to be open to it. You don't want to be, like I said earlier, sitting on your phone or just, having a conversation with your buddy or something like that, a fellow volunteer. You want to be out there trying to help people, which can be hard to do, but something like that you'll want to get into the practice of doing. It really helps your customer service skills. The sharks sometimes get full on really busy days and stop eating. Just let one of the employees know, come get one of us, or you can just start telling people, hey, the sharks are full, you may want to use your tickets at another station. Usually we'll kind of take over the situation at that point, but just in case it happens, let us know. Okay, last station is upstairs. This is where my Uncle Jeff usually helps out, by the way. But if he's not there, and he's usually not here on weekends, same thing as with the stations where you give out food, and that is 5 tickets, and you give them a cup of food, and there's also some plastic gloves that should be up there. You can tell the customers they can wear gloves if they want to. They don't have to. But at that point, you tell them that they can take 5 tickets and then toss them into either tank. Usually this tank on the left side, because it has bigger fish in it, more fun. But they can throw it into either tank. Believe that's it for that one. There are sometimes some artifacts with little signs on them. Sometimes we'll have someone assigned to watch that area. Not always, but we'll go over that information when that station's available. Usually on your first day, by the way, we usually have you at each station with someone else, so somebody that's more experienced, so you can ask questions and get help. Okay, and then just go over a couple of the most important points in the video here. Be on time. Let me know if you're ever going to miss a day. By text, by the way. I usually operate by text. If you call, I work a lot, so I might be busy, and it's easier for me if you're going to be there's usually many volunteers at any given point, usually 40, 50 or more. So I don't remember what's going on with each individual volunteer, but it's easy for me. I can look up your name in my phone and see the text record of when you said you would be missing. So that way I can't come to you and say, hey, you never let me know. You can say, hey, look at your text messages. I did let you know. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah, my bad. Protect the animals. Always make sure that if you see anything that looks wrong or looks like the customers are being too aggressive, let them know to be more gentle. If they give you any hard time about it, which is very rare, by the way, but if they do give you a hard time about it or won't listen, then you come get somebody to help you. Talk to customers. This is probably the thing that is going to separates our best volunteers from the rest, and that is the volunteers that go out of their way to help customers. And this is going to help you in any job, any profession. You go beyond just what you're supposed to be doing and helping people. Answer their questions, talk to them, be friendly. And I know that can be difficult, especially for the more introverted types. But this is a perfect opportunity for you to practice those skills, and really encourage you to come out of your shell. For me personally, I can tell you anecdotally, I was very quiet as a kid, and my dad essentially forced me to talk to a bunch of people, and that has helped me tremendously. I can give presentations and talk to people very well now, and thank goodness for that experience growing up as a kid, which many of you are younger. This is your opportunity to learn. And if you're older, of course, this is your opportunity to flex those social skills that you have and help make people's experience that much better, especially little kiddos. We love talking to kiddos and making them have a happy time at the aquarium. So last thing is learn. So um, you're there to learn customer service skills. It's going to be one of the big ones. I just talked about that, and then also um, and knowledge about the animals, of course, because I'm assuming you're volunteering at least in part because you like animals. Otherwise, you would probably pick somewhere else to volunteer. So um, feel free to ask the employees or the managers. Of course, the managers like myself and my sister Paige and my dad as well, are gonna know the most about the animals. Um, so of course, we are more than happy to answer any questions you have about the animals. Second thing, benefit of learning about animals, other than that, just the fact that it's cool and interesting, is that you can then turn around and share that knowledge with our customers, because one of the biggest parts of our mission at the aquarium is to educate the public, which is a big part of why we exist and have the animals there, is to tell people and have them learn. The more you can inspire people through your knowledge, the more likely they are to want to protect those animals as well, and join in our efforts. So that's very important. So how to do that practically. Uh, Usually how it goes is that when you're watching a tank, especially like the touch tank or something along those lines, when someone asks you a question that you don't know, of course you tell them, don't make something up. Just say, I'm not sure. I'd have to go ask. If really busy, you might have to ask us later. But um, at some point, you'll want to come to us with that exact question and ask us, and then we'll explain to you the answer so that you understand. And usually when people come in, they ask very similar questions over and over and over again. So once you learn the answers to those specific questions, um, you'll you'll sound like an expert, and you will be an expert to some extent. Not like like a college expert or a trained expert, but you will have a more a better general understanding of animal behaviors than 95% of people. So just by interacting with them and asking us questions. So I encourage you to ask lots of questions to us as you're volunteering. If you have any questions about anything in this video, give me a text. Otherwise, I look forward to working with you, assuming that you've been accepted into the program. If you have not yet been accepted into the program, instructions for how to do that, apply, are on the website. But again, you're still welcome to text me and ask me questions. Other than that, have a good day, and thank you for watching this video.